What is up, guys? Today we're going to be throwing it back all the way to the first day of my freshman year. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kyle and I'm a rising senior at Georgia Tech, even though everyone still seems to think that I'm a freshman after all of these years. Anyways, today I wanted to take you guys along on the story of my very first day ever of college, and with that, let's get started. I wonder if I still have a picture of it. I never delete any photos, so I probably do. But I remember on my very first day of college, I had no clue where I was going because I didn't at all know the campus. So I literally took a screenshot of the map of our campus and then I just drew little lines on it in different colors to indicate the different routes I was supposed to be taking to get to all of my different classes. I feel like within the first week or so, I got pretty comfortable walking on the routes to my classes, but it probably took at least a semester to really get to know how all the stuff on the campus connected and all the little shortcuts and stuff to get places a little bit quicker so you can just leave a little bit later. Since I live in Atlanta, there's a really tall skyscraper that's really close to campus and I'm very directionally challenged, so I was always worried about getting lost. So I remembered that to go towards East Campus, I just had to walk towards the skyscraper, and then if I was trying to get back to my dorm at the end of the day, I just had to walk in the opposite direction of the skyscraper. And that actually worked pretty well. There were a couple times in that first week or two when I was pretty lost and I just looked for the skyscraper, saw it, and knew where I needed to be going. Unfortunately, generally, buildings do not have maps of the interior of them, or maybe they do, I don't really know. But regardless, try to take note of where you're walking in a building so if you're really directionally challenged like me, you don't get lost inside any buildings. On my first day of class, most of the professors just gave us the syllabus and kind of went over the expectations for the course. But one class I remember in particular was my recitation for integral calculus. For some reason, they decided to give us a review worksheet and none of us could do it. Fortunately, our TA was nice enough to tell us that that worksheet was going to be one of the hardest things that we actually did in the class, and he was right, it was one of the hardest things we did in the entire class. But I remember going back to my room and panicking that night because I was like, oh my gosh, what did I just get myself into? I chose to skip over Calc 1 because I'd taken it in high school, and then all of a sudden it's my first day of Calc 2 and I have no clue what I'm doing. It all turned out fine, the class really wasn't that bad and I was able to get an A, but it was not a great feeling on the first day being given a review worksheet and having no clue how to do it. Here's something pretty unique that I guess most people can't say about their first day of college. We actually had the solar eclipse of 2017 on my first day of classes, and since I go to school down in Georgia, we were actually in a really good viewing location for the eclipse. This is a shot I took that day on Tech Green, which normally does not have nearly this many people on it. Since it was happening during classes, most professors either canceled conflicting classes or let students go out early, and then we got free custom glasses, which I guess is good, or we would have just risked going blind. That actually was a pretty cool experience, but the number of times that the professors and the convocation speakers joked about how they arranged a solar eclipse for us on our first day of college was a lot. I guess the fourth thing, which was really just a theme for the entire week, was having to reintroduce yourself over and over again to different people and then having to make small talk with all of those people. I'm naturally more of an introvert, so this can be a little bit hard for me, but especially in the beginning, it's a really good idea to branch out and try to get to know some people in your classes. It's typically a good idea to try to sit in the same general area of the classroom every day, or even the same seat maybe, sometimes I do that, just so you can get to know the same people that you're sitting around instead of bouncing around and never really getting to know any of the people that you're sitting near. Especially for classes that are required for your major, it's definitely a good idea to try to get to know some people in there because odds are you'll have classes with them again in the future. Over time, this definitely gets easier though, because once you establish a group of friends and people you like to hang out with, you can just seek those people out in your classes instead of always having to reintroduce yourself to new people every semester. This is something that I had wondered about a lot before I went off to college, and it was really just whether I would be homesick or not. A lot of you already probably know this from my other videos, but I'm from Pennsylvania, which, if you know anything about US geography, is not really anywhere close to Georgia. And that first day and that first week, I actually wasn't really homesick. I was more so just excited to be at college, which to me was really surprising coming in because I had never spent a lot of time away from home or my parents, so I assumed that I was going to be really homesick, especially in the beginning. One of the big misconceptions I realized I had about homesickness though was that I figured it was only during your freshman year, and then once you got used to college you didn't really get it anymore. At least in my case though, I've realized that it can really hit you randomly. There's been times even this past year as a junior where I was really stressed out and I was really anxious and really was homesick and wishing I could go home and see my family. Depending where you live and where you decide to go to college, this may or may not affect you. I know there's some people at Georgia Tech who actually go home pretty much every single weekend, but at least for me this was something I was really worried about, and even though I ended up being homesick, it didn't really affect me the way I expected it would. Alright guys, that's it for this one. If you enjoyed, hit that thumbs up button, And if you're new here, consider subscribing for new videos every week. That's it. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one.